guys, if it's Friday, it's Down and Dirty Woodscraft. Stay with me. Okay, today guys we're going to talk about something that was very prevalent in the early woodsman's gear, and that was the kit gun. Now you may or may not have heard this term before, but if you go back and you read a lot of the early books on the guys who were going out and doing woodscraft, and they spoke about a kit gun. Okay, and let me explain that to you. Today it's like when people say the truck gun, the house gun, the whatever. That's a gun that is a specific part or place. This shotgun stays with my truck, so to speak, all the time. I don't take it out. It's a piece of kit, like a jack or an extra tire. It stays with the gun. It stays with the truck. This is my home defense gun that stays in the nightstand. It don't go anywhere. It stays at the house. You see what I'm saying? Well, these guys talked about a kit gun, and quite often what they were talking about was a small caliber gun. Now, when you made the transition up from the percussion era up to the cartridge era, the 32s were still prevalent in that. And so it was like the 32 49 pocket model Colt, and then whenever those changed over to cartridge conversions, that was very prevalent. The 32-20 became very prominent of that. And this was some smaller caliber gun that was usually a revolver, and that was carried with the horse tack, or with your camping gear, or with your haversack. Just like you put on a knife, they would carry a small handgun because they're not hunting, so to speak. Hunting means I bring a bigger gun. See? I'm going fishing, I'm going camping, I'm going surveying, I'm going whatever. They brought along this gun for personal protection and also to get meat for the pot. Shoot that rabbit, shoot that squirrel, shoot that coon, whatever available as it presented itself. Remember that possum mentality? They had something to pull out and therefore go pop and have a quick meal. That's what it was for. It was not a designated self-defense gun, although it could serve. And it was not a designated target gun or anything like that, although it could serve. Quite often it was something small and compact. In fact, for many years, Smith & Wesson marketed a small 22 caliber swing out cylinder revolver that was called the kit gun. If you do a search for that, you'll find it. That was because so many hunters, fishermen, woodsmen, foresters, surveyors, those people that needed to be in the field but were not engaged in some sort of activity that required a bigger gun, would carry it. That was the kit gun. Now, when I was a young man, and everybody knows about my history with percussion revolvers, I've pointed that out many times, but that wasn't actually the first gun I was carrying in the field, other than hunting. Because even at a young age, I went for family hunts where I was, carrying a single shot shotgun, 20 gauge, to hunt squirrels, rabbits, dove shoots, things like that. Because you're trying to get meat for the pot for the house, okay? But early on, I made a trade and I got a 22 revolver, and that was my first kit gun. And the name of that gun back in the 70s was the FIE Buffalo Scout. It was a 22, and they also had 22 Magnum cylinders for it. And back in them days, if I recall correctly, when I went and saw it at a pawn shop, of course my mother had to pay for it for me. I got the money, but she bought it. And it was a 22 caliber revolver that looked a lot like a Colt. And they would fit into a 1911 holster, and you carried it on your belt. Something like this. Now this is the modern version of that. Now it's not made by the same company, but it's basically the same gun, guys. And that's one of the heritage guns. With this distinctive safety on the side over here, that is one of the heritage guns. And it came with 2 cylinders that were in 22 long rifle and 22 Magnum. And that gave you fantastic versatility in a gun. Now let's talk about that for a second. The versatility of such a thing when we go to the field. during the warmer times of the year when I got a problem with snakes, they're everywhere. You know, I need to be able to prepare for it. I can put shot loads in that. They make rat shot loads or snake loads for that revolver. So I can set it up. On the other hand, I can have a variety of ammunition. Now, in this little selection, I have the itty bitty CB cap right there, which is slightly smaller than a short. And then of course on the opposite end of that, I've got standard long rifle that I can carry. And with a quick change of the cylinder, I can really pump up the horsepower on it and go to a jacketed soft point in a 22 Magnum. That's a lot of variety. That's a lot of power settings that I can carry. Shot loads, very soft and light firing, short range CB, BB cap. I can drop in 22 long rifle and handle 99% of my shooting. Or if I feel that I'm going to need more horsepower, like I'm around something that might be bigger, like think hogs and stuff, that I'm not out here to hunt. If one showed up and he's rather upset with me, I want something to defend myself with. Or how about if we've had a problem with rabid dogs, rabid animals in this area? And that is a big problem here in the South, where you'll go through phases where it just seems like everybody's finding rabid animals. And so you need to go and protect yourself. And if you are out there, out going scouting, hunting, camping, fishing, and suddenly one of these animals show up, you're supposed to humanely dispatch it. And then contact and let the authorities know, I think I've got a rabid animal, so they can check it, verify it, and know to look and try to treat livestock or whatever, you know, things like that. So a kit gun for me in the earliest days was that little 22. It was small, it was compact, because I was going fishing. My great passion when I was say from 6 to 9 years old was fishing. I loved fishing, brim fishing, bass fishing, a cane pole, a can of wigglers, you know, and that pistol on my side in case of snakes. And we went fishing. You know, I'd get on my bicycle and I'd ride down to the creek, you know, or down to the pond and be able to fish on my own. Now today you'd never allow such a thing. But it was a different time back then, guys, where young people were expected to be kind of independent. So, let's talk about, these are readily available in different sizes today. Longer barrels, shorter barrel, and this is the length I like. And you can get different grips, different finishes on them. It's very simple to push the pin, pull out, drop out the cylinder, drop in the new cylinder, and click, and you got a 22 Magnum. A 22 Magnum is double the horsepower of a 22 long rifle. It should have the same power as a 22 long rifle at the muzzle at 100 yards. So that gives you an idea how powerful that is. It's fairly potent. And for something where I might worry about a hog or something popping up, or a big mean dog because somebody's got wild dogs down here in these woods, or coyotes or whatever that may be aggressive, I want something to punch. Now, holsters. Standard 1911 leather holster. They'll fit in two no problem. That's how I carried my earliest ones. This is a replica of a military cavalry holster for a revolver that I picked up off of eBay about 1.5 years ago. Fits in it perfectly. But you can easily get all kinds of carrying options and ways to carry this, so it's not an encumbrance in the field. And that's the big thing about a kit gun. It should not be an encumbrance. It should be something that just I put on like I'm putting on my knife. See, I may go out 20 times and never fire a shot. I'm not coming out to shoot or hunt. I'm going to scout, hike, whatever. It's the kit gun. It goes with this kit, see? And so that's what the Heritage gun is to me. To me, when I saw it, when they were bringing it back out, I knew that's an FIE Buffalo Scout. I mean, I bet the parts are interchangeable. It's a different company now making it, but in the 60s and 70s, it was an FIE Buffalo Scout was called, the name of it. So, let me set up and let me shoot a few plates for you, show you how it works. And it's super simple, you know. And since it's a revolver, It's not finicky on the ammunition. Now there are going to be people say, well, Blackie, I'd feel better if I had an automatic with da-da-da. And that is perfectly viable if that's what you want to carry. However, you're limited in your ammunition options because it is an automatic. It has to have a certain power level where I can put a BB cap into that thing and it's like a BB gun. You can watch the bullet going through the air for simple target practice or something like that. On the other hand, I can drop a .22 Magnum in it and pow! I got horsepower. I've got this wide range of capabilities, all because it's a revolver. And therefore, I determine the power level by what I load into it. Pretty simple, huh? Let's shoot a few plates. Okay, we're going to start on the bottom end of the power level. These are the small CB caps. These are smaller than a .22 short. To load one of the revolvers like this, you open the loading gate, bring the hammer back to half cock. That will allow the cylinder to turn. You then put them in one at a time. I'm going to load 5. And I am on a shooting range, so we're okay. Now, we'll see how the power level is. Now on the Heritage, there's actually a safety right there. You flip back when it's time to fire. No recoil, little pop. That's it. Now what would a CB cap be used for? Well, very close range shooting at something small. Like for example, I'm trying to, just get out here and practice at my accuracy at close range. You don't want to make a lot of fuss and a lot of noise. I don't need a lot of power. How about if I'm trying to hunt something really small, like squirrels on the ground? Okay, maybe there's a lot of squirrels in this area and I'm able to just sit there and sight in on them and do it. Not a lot of power is required. A BB gun can take it, right? So I can dial the power down to the CB cap and handle it. The pellet's running about somewhere around 600-700 feet per second. Fast enough to be humane and take it, but not overkill. Now to empty the gun, you pull it back to the half cock, the cylinder turns, open the gate, and then you have an ejector rod right here. And you line it up and you will push out all your empties, one at a time. Just like that. Fairly simple. Now we'll shoot standard long rifle in it. Had to reset my plates. Okay, you can see there's a good deal more pop to a full power long rifle as opposed to a CB cap. Now let's step it up one more and go to Stingers, which are considered a very high velocity .22 long rifle. This is Stinger ammunition, and it's considered a very high velocity .22 long rifle. Load one, skip one, load the next 4. Cock the hammer, you're now on an empty. That means I'm allowing the hammer to rest down on an empty chamber for safety. Okay. Okay, Stinger ammunition. Safety off. Make sure you can see all of them. Okay. Now that was the high velocity .22, the Stingers. Plenty of power. Now let's go to the top power, Magnum. We're going to take the gun, we're going to push that cross pin out of the way, right there. Slide the base pin up, just like that. The cylinder will then come out the window just like that. Now we take the Magnum cylinder and return it back to the gun. Pressing that cross pin out of the way, pushing it down, and we're back in 22 Magnum. Okay, for those not familiar, this is a standard 22 long rifle. This is a standard 22 Magnum. A lot bigger and a lot more horsepower. 22 Magnum. A whole lot more firepower. So with this one revolver, a relatively inexpensive revolver, as a kit gun, something to go along with your kit when you're going fishing, hunting, or whatever, or just exploring. It's a good revolver for that type deal. It's accurate to within reason. It gives you a big variety of firepower within reason. And for those who feel comfortable with firearms and would like to have a firearm as part of their kit, it makes an excellent kit gun. I just wanted to share this with you. I hope you enjoyed it. And do me a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you did before you go. And please leave any questions or comments down below if there's some gun that you prefer or something else. Guns aren't for everybody. You know, I'm not in any way advocating that this is the only way to go. Not everybody's comfortable with guns, and that's perfectly fine. I have a friend that is not comfortable with guns, and he goes to the field with a bow and does anything I can do, but he does it with a bow. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.